Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and yeah, happy Sunday to everyone else. Hope it's been a great weekend for you guys. Hey there, Gene. I see you in the chat. I was hoping your boys would finish things out yesterday against the Hurricanes, but hey, looks like it's going to Game 5. Not the worst thing in the world. How are you doing, Ashton? Great to see you in the chat, my guy. Yeah, and hey, Gavin is here as well. He's got his own little happy Mother's Day message to me. I am the best mom ever. Yeah, I'm a cat mom and a cat dad. It's true. So yeah, guys, you'll notice, I think you all were here last night for the second episode of Movie Punks, but yeah, you'll notice it's still pretty much the same setup. Changed some of the pieces behind me and running through StreamYard now. So, still getting used to everything over here. I'll be kind of hopping back and forth between StreamYard and XSplit so I can show off my little images there in the upper corner and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, today should be a relatively quick one. Just going to run through everything we did this week, which really was just the Movie Punks episode, and then talk about what we have coming up because we have a whole bunch of new stuff coming up. But yeah, thank you guys for popping in here on a Sunday. Don't know if it's afternoon or still morning where you all are at. It's just 10 a.m. out here in the Phoenix area. So yeah, guys, let's take a look at what we covered here on the show this week. So let's take a look here. We had the second episode of Movie Punks yesterday with Foz Rotten and myself. That was a lot of fun, covering the original Dawn of the Dead from 1978/79. In Europe, it came out in 78, but it didn't make its way out to the States until 79. So yesterday, Foz and I jumped on because it was the 45th anniversary of the film arriving out in Hollywood, California. So wanted to cover that and just kind of go over, a movie that has been so influential in my film taste moving forward ever since the first time I saw it when I was about 17 years old. And Foz had seen it when he was even younger. So it was really cool to go kind of back, talk about those old memories, talk about everything to do with the film, and see what you guys had to say. So really appreciate y'all showing up there. I see Cheesy Corn Pop is in the chat. I saw you out there yesterday as well for Movie Punks. I think, was that your first Movie Punks episode? I mean, it was only the second one. So if you missed the first one, that was your first one. Yeah. So Dawn of the Dead, I mean, what can you really say about it? I had to go watch the movie after the stream last night. I was just like, jumped into the Born to Be Rad stream for a sec, or the chat, just to say what's up to everyone. About an hour into that, I'm like, okay, I got to pop on Dawn of the Dead before it gets too late. So yeah, really fun to look back on that movie. Yeah, coming up next for Foz and I, we're going to be taking on Repo Man here in June. So I'm really excited to go back to that movie. It's been a long time since I've seen that one, and take a look at a movie that is truly, in every sense of the word, a punk movie. I mean, when the soundtrack is surrounded by those seminal punk rock bands of the 80s, it just really has that feel. I think, if I remember correctly, I think SST even does the soundtrack for Repo Man, which is, or maybe it's not SST, but it's a whole bunch of SST bands. So that's a pretty cool little footnote there as well. So we've got, let's see here, everyone's saying hi to each other. That is awesome to see. We got about 7 people watching now. Say what's up in the chat and let me know how your Sunday's going. How your Mother's Day going? Are you a mom? Let me know in the chat. We want to make sure we, give some love out to all the mothers out there for sure. And yeah, so Movie Punks was really fun. We'll be coming back in June. That was a great time. You can go back and watch the replay and, see what our first stream with StreamYard was like. It's really cool to be able to show your guys's, live chats up on the screen and all. That's really great. So, yeah, it was a heck of a time. I had a great time with our first episode, but I really enjoyed covering Dawn. And I think just, like anything else on YouTube, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get doing it, and the better the final product ends up being. Absolutely. So yeah, moving on from the Dawn of the Dead episode of Movie Punks, Got a big one coming up tonight with my guy Chris Snyder over there at Movie Misfits. Please give the Movie Misfits channel a sub if you haven't yet. This stream is going to be over there. So if you're not subbed to Chris's channel, there's a chance you could miss out on the stream. So I'd hate for you guys to miss out on that. We're going to be talking all things Indiana Jones, the entire franchise. So all 5 movies. I had never seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or Dial of Destiny until this last like couple weeks. So those are relatively fresh. I grew up with the original Indiana Jones movies. Of course, I think like a lot of kids that were born in the 70s or the 80s, or gosh, maybe even in the 90s, especially if you have older siblings. That's how stuff was with me. I have 4 older siblings, so a whole bunch of stuff from the 70s and the early 80s, like when I was a baby, like a lot of that stuff I grew up with in a sense, because as I got older, it was all still there. So really excited to talk about the Indiana Jones franchise over there with Chris, and to see what you guys think. And as we go through all the films, not going to say too much about it here because I want to save it all for that. So I just think that's a really cool, to be able to collaborate with creative folks here on YouTube is really awesome. And especially when we were kind of looking, what can we cover? What can we cover? And I was going through movies that have anniversaries and, just looking up the years on IMDb. And in 1984, in May of 1984, Temple of Doom came out. And then in May of 1989, The Last Crusade came out. So I was like, well, these 2 movies have, pretty big milestone anniversaries. And Chris was like, well, how about we just cover the whole franchise? So I think that's an even better idea. Let's just go ahead and roll the whole thing out and have a lot of fun with it with you guys there in the chat as well. So yeah, moving on from Indiana Jones and the Death Ray of Misfits. Guys, you can find also links in the description below if you want to check out either the second episode of Movie Punks, or if you want to set a notification bell for the Indiana Jones retrospective, you can certainly do that as well. I encourage you guys to do that, as well as, sub to Chris's channel and sub to Foz's channel if you haven't done that. Really fun time hanging out with Foz. Foz and I just met through YouTube. So when I started the channel, started putting out more content, maybe it was like September, something like that, maybe end of August, September, I found his channel, he found mine. I can't remember how it worked out. He may have commented on one of my first videos, and then I checked out what he had going on his channel, and I'm like, man, I really like this guy's personality. I really like what he's into. I don't see that he's making a lot of content, but maybe we can do something together. So just something that sort of happened. And yeah, Movie Punks will be once a month. So that way it's easy to fit it in each other's schedules, and we shouldn't have to skip any months or anything like that. And yeah, if there's anything that you guys want to see us cover on Movie Punks that you think fits the mold of the show, I mean, the idea is that we cover something that's a little punk rock in its nature. That we'd greatly appreciate it. Any suggestions that you guys have gotten. Oh my gosh, we have got Mr. Cody Snyder here in the chat. What's happening, Cody? Great to see you, man. Happy Sunday. Hope it's a good one for you. Not sure if you're still out on the road, but I guess I can always assume that you quite possibly are. Ashton says, I'm not a big Indiana Jones fan, but I'll be there. Yeah, I get it. I mean, going back through the first 3 films, it was interesting to see like how my opinions have changed through time. So again, I'm going to save that for the stream later. But yeah, it was interesting going back. Let's see here. Cody Snyder says, to the moms. That's right. Cheers to the moms. Absolutely. Wow, Gavin has never seen a single Indiana Jones movie. Well, Gavin, while you're going through your, trying to watch 200 plus films in 2024, I think at least the original trilogy is well worth jumping into and checking out for sure. I'll talk more about the newer movies in the stream tonight, but yeah, I think the original trilogy for sure is a fan of film, especially if you like the George Lucas style of storytelling, like that older style of storytelling that he had. I think you dig it. Yeah, for sure. Kate Schwartz says, good morning and happy Sunday. And man, I can smell, Kate is making bacon out in the kitchen. I can smell it. It's like the cartoon where it like picks you up and you just want to like float into the room. I think it's because the AC just kicked on. It's already that time of year out here in the Phoenix area where Gosh, I think we had to close the windows up by like 7:30 this morning. But we've actually been, the last couple weeks have been relatively cool, and even at night we're able to open up the windows, so that's pretty all right. And Cody is in Wyoming, so not too far from home, but still far enough, right? Yeah, man, that's it's just so wild to see all the places that your job takes you, and just all the cool things you're able to see as you work. Really, really awesome to watch your exploits as a truck driver. Absolutely. So yeah, let's go on to the next thing here. So after doing movie misfits and everything, this Sunday we have got the debut of Late Night with the Davey on Wednesday, May 15th at 10 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to be the debut of my late night show. The idea here with the late night show is, kind of like an old school talk show where we do sort of like interviews with our guests. We bring on, other content creators. We bring on creative types like musicians. We've got, a band playing here, Lovely Colors. We're actually going to be showing their music video. They have a new record coming out on the 24th of May. So kind of tough to do a full band sort of live thing streaming, but we'll show their video. We'll talk with the band. And then, yeah, just trying to find creative folks. And, Cody, aka the Dude, has a channel. Matt Facci has a channel. So we'll just be kind of getting to know those guys. And I think working in a little bit of a kind of like segment kind of interview stuff where I want to do like this or that, where I kind of give them rapid fire, like, would you rather have this or that? Just find a way to keep it interesting. And another thing I want to do as well, and I mentioned this last week in the stream, is open up the floor for you guys. If you want to hop on the stream during the late night show and maybe ask me a question, or there's a topic that you want to discuss, feel free to reach out to me. We can pop on there for a good, 3 to 5 minutes, something, short and sweet. A really great way to be able to connect with you guys, involve you in the show. So if you're interested in that, then let me know through like a DM. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, and I can shoot you the link here for StreamYard, even if you're just on your phone. And even if you don't feel comfortable, putting your face out there, you just want to hop on with an audio question, we can do that as well. Absolutely. That's a cool feature here on StreamYard, is it doesn't have to be video. So whatever you're comfortable with. And even if you guys, will probably do a Q&A section during the show. If you want to hit me up in the chat, always want to open up the live chat for any sort of questions that you guys have got. Cody says, man, I love bacon. And Gavin, bring that bacon into the chat. I know, man. Oh, look at that virtual bacon coming your way from Kate. So there's 5 pieces there. So everyone share, be nice. Okay. Yeah. So really looking forward to Late Night with the Davey. That's just one of those ideas that kind of hit me. Really loved Late Night with the Devil, enjoyed that film quite a bit. Found it to be pretty charming and entertaining, a different kind of horror movie. I know there are a couple that kind of came before it that it sort of took inspiration from, but still, when you've got like 3 movies in that genre, it's still a relatively like untapped genre and pretty fresh to see. So really enjoyed that movie. Thought, hey, Late Night with the Davey, that kind of works. We don't have in our community like a midweek late night stream. I just was like, man, what a fun thing it would be. For me, it's really not even that late. 7 p.m. and then 8 p.m. when the time switches is really not that bad to go on 10 p.m. Eastern. It also allows me to bring on some guests from the Eastern time zone as well. And yeah, just looking forward to seeing what that whole adventure is like. And we plan on going weekly with that every Wednesday. So yeah, even if you don't have a question for this one, or you want to get involved at some point, if you have a creative project that you want to share. And really, like, the idea that I'm going for with like creative stuff is, I'm looking for people that either have like a published body of work, or, that creating your art is something that you do as a living or as like a supplement to your living. Yeah, just really want to be able to showcase and lift up people who are, who that's like a big passion and a big part of their life. Absolutely. Gavin says, I wish I could hop on, but I'm too socially awkward. My butthole will be sweating. That is pretty funny. Hey, yeah, but Gavin, even if you just want to do an audio question, it certainly works. And if you don't even feel comfortable with that, we'll just probably do a Q&A section where we bring people in virtually, and that would be the time where you could ask me something in the chat. And maybe, the ideas are all still kind of coming to me as we put this show together, and I imagine the show will sort of evolve as we go. So maybe each time we have a guest on, we leave a little section there where a couple of you can ask a question, in the chat. So that way, nerves don't even matter at all. Just got to shoot that question over, and we'll have a little talk. So yeah, really excited to get that going. I've already got the second episode booked, and I will be booking the the third episode this coming week. So yeah, if you're a content creator and you have a channel out there and you want to hop on, please feel free to hit me up. It doesn't have to be this month. We can find a Wednesday that works for you. That's the great thing about doing it as often as we're going to be doing it. And then the last thing that I've got as far as what's coming up this week for the show is Kate and I are coming back with Movie Date with Davey and Kate live on May 18th. That's Saturday, May 18th. That's my birthday. So we're going to be talking about Scream 2 on the 18th of May. We'll go live at, I believe, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a nice little sweet spot there to get you guys on a Saturday. And yeah, really looking forward to talking Scream 2. It won our previous poll. So, every time we do an episode, or every other time we do an episode, we drop a poll. The first place gets the next episode, and then second place is the episode after that. So Scream won first place in our last poll. Beetlejuice, the original Beetlejuice, won second place. But I think we're going to table Beetlejuice, and we're going to wait until closer to when Beetlejuice comes out. That way we can kind of have it match up with the sequel coming out in theaters. I think, that would be the way to go. Sometimes you have to hop on that algorithm wave. You can't fight it all the time. But we will, we'll figure something out for that following episode. So this will be our last episode in May on the 18th, and then we'll probably come back with something towards the beginning of June. And so Ashton wants to know, is it a watch along or just talking about Scream 2? So, maybe that's something we have to figure out with the show, because the core idea of Movie Date with Davey and Kate is that we discuss the movie, but it's a live discussion. It's stream of consciousness, and it's really fun to discuss it with you guys. The thing about the watch alongs that's really tough is, we can't show the movie for obvious reasons. So sometimes doing a watch along, even when we did Grandma's Boy, it got hit with it wasn't like a strike against the channel, like a meaningful strike, but there was a copyright that got hit for a bit of the music that snuck onto the microphone. So that's the tough thing with the watch along. However, if you check the links in the description below, Ashton, I just started a Patreon. So for $5 a month, you can sign up for Patreon and, offer above and beyond support to the channel here. And the idea, of course, with the Patreon, I'm sure you guys know what that's all about. We'd have exclusive behind the scenes content, show you everything with the studio. I could even walk you through an editing process, show off the equipment that we use. It's pretty humble equipment, but I think it would be cool for you guys just to see, if you're interested in starting your own channel, that, with a relatively minimal investment, you can at least get going. And then what I found is, as I kept going on as a channel, it was like, okay, well, now I'm going to invest in this. Now I'm going to invest in that. It was a really cool, like, as the channel grew, I just saw potential there. So yeah, we can kind of show you the behind the scenes, walk through some editing on some pre-recorded videos. And of course, we can do exclusive videos just for our Patreon members. So I think watch alongs are a lot easier on Patreon. I don't know if we can show the movie. It's possible that we could actually show the movie on Patreon, but I think they would at least be more lenient as far as copyright for like music and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's something that we can definitely explore. But this, Ashton, will be a discussion on the film and sharing that chat with you guys. Gavin says, oh, you almost made it as a fellow Gemini, just short. Yep, just a few days short, I think, or 4 days short, something like that. Kate Schwartz, I feel like Nev Campbell in Scream 2. It's a great line from The Office. Absolutely. Let's see here. Gavin says, should have done Scream 3. Yeah, we probably will. So I think the reason why we put Scream 2 in the poll is because the first episode we did was, we covered the first Scream. So I figured with Scream, as we go along, we'll just enter each sequel into the poll in the, order that it came out in. So, most of our audience here, Gavin, are big time horror fans. So I'd put my money on when Scream 3 gets put in the poll that it's absolutely going to crush everything around it. I thought Pirates of the Caribbean was going to do pretty well. But really, man, you guys spoke volumes. You didn't want any of that Disney shit. You wanted some good old fashioned horror. So yeah, Scream 3 will come up. I have no doubt that we will cover all of the Scream films on Movie Date with Davey and Kate. Absolutely. Yeah, no problem, Ashton. Of course. Yeah. And I'm certainly interested in doing the watch alongs. I know we did that for the 420 special. I thought of it at that time as kind of a one-off. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I didn't foresee that we were going to run into that copyright issue. Kind of made me rethink that. But we'll see what happens with Patreon. It's brand new. I just started the Patreon on Friday night. So no members or anything like that, but just wanted to let you guys know that that option is there. And then, as the channel continues to grow and everything like that, I imagine the perks will grow as well. But if you check out the link in the description below, you can see what the perks are there. And then you can also let me know if there's, a perk that you'd be interested in having me add that would further entice you. Ashton says, I used to not like Scream 3, but it's really grown on me the last few years. I hear you, especially with the last two movies that have come out, Ashton, as Kate and I rewatch those movies like once or twice a year, and especially the original, like the first four that Wes did. And yeah, Scream 3 seems to age better and better. There's certain things about it that certainly stand out. But I think for me, like the reveal of Roman at the end seems to age the best out of the things that I didn't necessarily like as much towards the beginning. Gavin says, I'll sign up for the Patreon. I deleted the app years ago, so I got to see if I can still get into my account. Absolutely, Gavin. And I'm basically was like, man, there's one more metric that I have to fulfill for YouTube to allow me to take advantage of YouTube memberships. So it's like watchable hours within 365 days. You have to have 3,000. I'm somewhere around like 1,200. I should have started doing the live streams so much earlier because that number has skyrocketed. You guys have been amazing showing up for these live streams. And every minute that you're here in the live stream and you're engaging in the chat, when you come back and watch the video or you share it with a friend and they watch it, every single one of those clicks and every bit of that engagement helps us reach that goal on YouTube. We're just still a ways away. And I thought, at this point, I am investing, quite a bit of money and time, and I wanted to be able to jump on some of those, exclusive perks, kind of get my feet wet and figure out what that whole world's going to be like. Because, by the time we're doing YouTube memberships, I'd like to be able to like really jump in and provide amazing, top of the line content. And of course, I'd include that with the Patreon, but it's just a good way to sort of see how it goes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, I would certainly appreciate, of course, your support thus far. So subscribing, showing up to the streams, all that stuff is greatly appreciated. But to go above and beyond and offer that monetary support is huge. And we're still so new here at the channel, but I'd be lying to you guys if I said that at some point I don't want to do this for a living. Like it would be amazing to be able to do this for a living, with also with Kate, for us to both be, working this into our lives and into our livelihood and be able to, dedicate more time to putting together content for you guys. Absolutely. We got Foz Rotten popping into the chat. What's happening, Foz? Popping in to say, what's up, brother? Hope you have a great stream. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, guys, if you haven't gone over and gave Foz a subscribe, go ahead and visit his channel and share the Movie Punks show, all that kind of good stuff. It's great partnering up with Foz, and we're excited to come back in June with that Repo Man. Let's see here. Kate, yeah, Kate agrees with Ashton as well. Each time she watches Scream 3, she finds it more and more that she appreciates about it. That's awesome. And Ashton says, I like every Scream movie, but some are weaker than others for sure. Yeah, I agree on that one. I think the last two movies have been relatively weak, all things considered, for sure. Look at that. Foz getting some love and bringing it right back. That's amazing. So yeah, guys, really excited to come back with Movie Date with Davey and Kate covering Scream 2. I think Scream 2 is one of the most solid slasher sequels probably of all time. Even if, you know, I don't well, I don't want to give away too much on my ranking of it, because actually I did, so I did the Friday the 13th ranking, I did the Nightmare on Elm Street ranking, and Scream beat out Chucky in the latest poll. So there was Child's Play, the George Romero Dead series, The Evil Dead, and Scream. And it was neck and neck between Child's Play and Scream. Child's Play ended up getting like 31% of the votes overall, and Scream got 32%. And it really was just the difference of one single vote, because there were 89 votes total that you guys tallied up for us. So really, really neck and neck there. The great thing is it's a bit of a relief, because I know the Scream movies so well. Of course, I'll rewatch them before the ranking. But Child's Play, I haven't seen, like, the last three movies I've maybe only seen like one time each. So I'd really have to like write down some notes and all that. So yeah, we'll be covering Scream in a ranking here in June as well. So yeah, we're going to keep that Scream train going, and I'll share some more of my thoughts on this episode. Don't want to give away too much, but man, Scream 2 has a lot that really, really works for me. Absolutely. So yeah, other than that, here on the channel, late night with the Davey is going to be rotating every Wednesday. We'll be, doing 2 episodes of Movie Date with Davey and Kate every month, 1 episode of Movie Punks with Foz Rotten. And, really just from there, it'll be working in those, collaborations and all that. So I'm really excited to see what's ahead. I know that over at Fatchy Cinema, I'm going to be hopping on sometime in June. Matt and I haven't figured out a date, or I would share, a thumbnail and everything with you. But Matt and I, he does like a summer camp kind of watch along series where he brings people on to watch a movie with him. So they're all like kind of summer themed and everything. So we are going to watch The Prowler, 1981's The Prowler. Let me know in the chat if you guys have seen that one. That's probably, I would say, my favorite one-off slasher of all time right there, if I had to pick one. So really excited to cover that one with Matt, and should be a damn good time. We'll let you know more about that as we figure out that date. And we've got my brother, Matt Conway Art, giving a little hail to the chat. What's happening, Matt? Kate and I are going over to Matt's later on today. He lives just about 25 minutes down the road, right next door to my parents, actually. And we're going to go over there for a little Mother's Day celebration. Really looking forward to seeing the fam. And yeah, Mother's Day is, a pretty big one for me. My mom has there's 5 kids in the family. So she really put in her time from 72 to 82, got 5 kids in there, has been so incredibly supportive of, the relationships we've been in, really invested in getting to know, our partners in life. And also like through growing up, supportive yet firm as far as, making sure that your grades are good, that you're taking care of your chores, that the vacuum was running long enough to do a good job of actually vacuuming the room, because if it wasn't, then she'd make you go back and do it again. Letting me have a second glass of milk so I could wash down those canned green beans as a child that I didn't really enjoy. I was the pickiest eater, and I'm still relatively a picky eater, but as I've gotten older, I've embraced so many more different foods. Like, to me, I know the difference, but I think for most adults, they're probably like, what's with this grown adult that doesn't like mushrooms? But that's just me. But yeah, my mom just being supportive as far as, growing up playing sports, getting into punk rock, getting into horror. I've told that story so much here on the channel that when I first saw Halloween 2, I wanted to be Michael Myers that Halloween, and my parents didn't even flinch. My dad was like, okay, let's go to the hardware store, got some white face paint makeup and like white and black so we could do like circles around the eyes, and then got me a knife that had like a retractable blade and a screaming sound. And, you know, they were totally into letting their, gosh, 9 or 10-year-old son dress up as Michael Myers for Halloween without even really thinking about it. You know, so supportive and nurturing of those interests. And man, as I grew up and got into punk rock and started playing shows and putting on my own shows, my parents were at every single show if they were in that town. So even when I moved away from Alaska and you know, would play in Seattle or play in Portland, like if my parents were on a trip, they would catch like a show in Portland or a show in Seattle, like wherever they could while they're on a road trip. So supportive, both of them. Mom, I'm not sure if you're watching, but I love you and happy Mother's Day. I can't wait to see you guys later and give you a big old bear hug. Hopefully I don't break anything when I do that. I know it's got to be crazy that your baby boy is turning 42 next month, but let's make it a great Mother's Day here. Before I hop on with Cody Snyder and talk about, or Cody Snyder, Chris Snyder, so many Snyders on YouTube. I can't even keep track of them. Before I hop on with Chris Snyder from Movie Misfits and talk about probably every mom's favorite movie star, Harrison Ford. I mean, come on. Does it get any hotter than Harrison Ford in the 80s and early 90s? Not for my money. I don't think so. So yeah, it'd be a great Mother's Day visit with the fam out there here in a little bit. And let's Matt says Dave still loves Dino Nuggets. Well, I wouldn't say no to Dino Nuggets, but I grew up, you know, the Dave special was like the plain cheeseburger when I was growing up. That's yeah, it's Dino Nuggets. That's hilarious. Gavin says, oof, canned green beans are rough and washing them down with milk is a zesty move. Yeah, and you know what? For whatever reason, Gavin, as a kid, I never thought just to put like a little bit of butter and just like maybe even just pepper on the, you know, on the green beans. Probably would have made them a lot better. I really enjoy just like crushed black pepper. I think it's one of those things that just like, you know, can make canned food. You know, when you grow up in Alaska, like fresh produce is so expensive. So I ate a lot of canned veggies and stuff growing up. So I didn't really know any different until becoming an adult and leaving the state. Yeah. Gene says, I'm happy to still have my mom here. That's awesome, Gene. Yeah, it's you know, being able to still, you know, see your parents and, you know, get that time in with them. My parents are both in their mid 70s, but in relatively good shape. So, you know, it's great to just be able to get to hang out with them at this stage in my life and this stage in their life. And, you know, and then look back on all those times. Now the 80s seems like such a long time ago. It's so wild, man. Even the 90s feels like such a long time ago. Kate says, moms make the world go round. Absolutely. They sure do. And Cody, yeah, you guys got your own Snyderverse. That would be hilarious. I'd love to see Zack Snyder directs Cody Snyder and Chris Snyder in the everyone's confused about which Snyder it is on YouTube universe. That would be amazing. I bet he'd still find a way to like have a slow motion shot of like bullet casings falling down. Zack Snyder, that's like his thing. It's like, you know how Lucio Fulci always shoots his like horror scenes, like money shots in a porno. Well, Zack Snyder, his version of that is slow motion bullet casings falling. I could only imagine how tight his pants were as he shot Sucker Punch. We do know a lot of Snyders, Ashton. That's hilarious. Let's see here. Yeah, we've got a couple. I did see a couple. I'm not ignoring them or anything. Oh, did I lose you guys? Are you guys there? Oh, are you guys there? Did I lose you? I don't know what happened there. Are we back? We're back. I have no idea what happened, guys. Little blip in the matrix there. That didn't happen yesterday during Movie Punks. I know the computer is plugged in and everything, so who knows what the heck's going on. But yeah, I was going to read off Matt's really quick here. I eat Snyder's pretzels in slow motion. That's pretty awesome. Snyder's pretzels while watching Zack Snyder direct Cody and Chris Snyder in a Snyderverse event. if and when Chris and I meet in person, we'll do the Spider-Man point. That's great. You got to. You absolutely got to. Yeah, so I did see let's see here. Yeah, Gavin had put up there RIP Roger Corman. Yeah, I was going to show this. I didn't know, like, I was like, I don't want to end the stream on a downer, but yeah, we did lose Roger Corman passed away yesterday. And the great thing I think about Corman is he just produced so much damn content. There's good stuff in the Corman library. Of course, there are amazing actors that performed in his films, and there's a lot of bad movies as well that I actually get a lot of enjoyment out of. Like, I don't mean bad as a slight to him, because you guys know that I'm a huge Mystery Science Theater 3000 fan. And without Roger Corman's, contribution to the world of film, a lot of those movies, would never have been, able to be covered on Mystery Science Theater. Who knows? I mean, seriously, most of the movies that they did, especially in the early days, were Roger Corman movies. So, I just think about how much he gave to us as far as quality pictures, but even the lesser films, he was known for hiring, like, he'd hire Vincent Price and Boris Karloff, and they'd shoot like 2 movies in like 2 or 3 weeks. He'd just reuse the sets, swap out some actors, make sure the cameras and the lighting and the set dressing was different than before, and just make a whole new damn movie. So I really appreciate that hustle from Roger Corman. He's responsible for bringing in so many great, directors that went on to do amazing things, and actors as well. So you guys got guys like Jonathan Demme, Ron Howard, Sylvester Stallone, Jack Nicholson. I'm pretty sure like John and David Carradine. I was trying to think. I'm like, which one is it? John and David. I think both of them in a whole bunch of those Corman movies. So yeah, it's you know that these moments are going to come for every single one of us, but certainly want to take a moment to pay some tribute there to Roger Corman. And then yeah, I saw this so late in the night, Gene, but you're absolutely right. Susan Backline from Jaws passed away yesterday. I wish I had a picture prepared here for her, but let's just assume that she's a mom and put the Happy Mother's Day back up there. Yeah, that opening scene of Jaws is one of the most just like shocking, lets you know what you're in for the rest of the entire film kind of scene. Everything's shrouded. You don't see the shark at all. It's just her reaction. It's a really good performance for somebody that I don't think she was necessarily an actress. I think she was just like a really good swimmer, and she was, starting to do like kind of like stunt work. So, Chrissy Watkins, I think, is the name of her character there. Really great performance. I think she almost drowned while making that, or while filming that scene, because as they were pulling her, they had a system of like pulleys on the beach, and at one point they pulled her under and she was having a tough time getting back up. So pretty wild kind of behind the scenes moment there. But yeah, rest in peace to Susan Backline as well. Yeah, it's you just never know when someone's time's going to be. As fans of film and fans of art and media and stuff like that, this is something that us fans deal with every week. So thoughts, of course, to the family and friends and the folks that worked with these people, that are still around. They lost a colleague. So it's good to just take those few minutes and think about those folks, and then also take some time to think about the people that you appreciate in your own life as well. Let's see here. Boom, look at that. Kate Shore says, "You rock, Gavin. Thank you for joining." Yeah, I'll have to see. I don't know if I got a notice or if you've done that yet, but that is pretty awesome of you, Gavin. Need to get that going here. Get the Patreon going. I mean, Andrew Stevens, microphone clipping. Okay. Is it still clipping right now, you guys? I just want to make sure. Let me turn it down a bit. There we go. Is that a little bit better? Yeah, still trying to figure some stuff out with the new setup here. So please feel free to let me know in the chat if something doesn't look or sound right. I got tired of the microphone like blocking Michael for so long. And then also with everything down at the bottom with StreamYard, it's just sort of like, kind of figuring out how to reconfigure things so it matches the new look and everything. And we've got Tyler in the chat. What's happening, Tyler? Great to see you, bud. Hope it's been an awesome weekend for you thus far. Yeah, you may have missed out on the early part of the show, but the quick and dirty of it all is we're here to say Happy Mother's Day. To also say that I'll be over on Movie Misfits with Chris Snyder, not Cody Snyder, Chris Snyder at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about Indiana Jones. Kate and I are going to be back with Movie Date with Davey and Kate on Saturday the 18th. That's my 42nd birthday, and we're going to be talking about Scream 2. And oh my gosh, between tonight and my birthday on Saturday, we've got the very first episode of Late Night with the Davey kicking off on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. So super pumped to share that all with you guys. And yeah, probably wrap this thing up within the next 15 minutes. Got a couple of things I want to take care of around the house before going over to my brother's house for the Mother's Day get together. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions or anything like that you want me to answer, feel free to shoot away. Other than that, maybe I'll just scroll through the various little thumbnails that we've got here. Yeah, why not, right? Just show that off a bit. You guys got to check out Movie Punks with myself and Foz Rotten. Why not? And then tonight, the Indiana Jones, of course, like we had just mentioned. Late Night with the Davey, yeah. And Movie Date with Davey and Kate making its triumphant return. A triumphant return of Movie Date with Davey and Kate. So yeah, let me know what you guys got. Hopefully let me know about the microphone too, and then that way I can just sort of settle on this as my setting. So appreciate the heads up on that one, Andrew. Absolutely. Boom. Yeah, a little Sunday hangout. What do you guys have going on for your Sunday afternoon? And yeah, are you getting together with the family? Anything special planned for you guys? Kate and I are just cat parents, so I think Kate already got the happy fur Mother's Day from her mom, so that's pretty sweet. We've just been, honestly, this morning, Kate was going through a bunch of pictures of her family to try to find some good ones of her and her mom. So it's always super sweet to see, like baby pictures of your best friend, your wife. It's just adorable to see what they were like as a kid, see what carries over into adulthood and what has changed. And yeah, just got a little, honestly watched the Dawn of the Dead featurette a little bit and had some coffee and yeah, just kind of kicking it this morning here. What's happening, Zub Zero? How are you doing, Zub? Welcome to the stream here. We are just kind of wrapping up here, but hey, just for your benefit, why not? I'll scroll through these thumbnails yet again. Let's take a look here. We've got Dawn of the Dead was covered on Movie Punks last night. This evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be over at the Movie Misfits channel talking with Chris Snyder about the Indiana Jones franchise. Link in the description below for that one so you can set the notification. And then we've got Late Night with the Davey is debuting this Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. There should be a link in the description below on that one as well. If not, I will add it after this stream ends, and then that way you can set the notification bell for that one as well. And then yeah, Movie Date with Davey and Kate coming back on May 18th, my 42nd birthday. Who's buying me a cake? Who's gonna get me balloons? Probably nobody. Maybe we can have some balloons here in the background. That would be kind of fun. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, guys, probably wrap it up here unless you've got any questions for me or anything that you want to see here covered. We've got Tyler Adams says Mother's Day is about to kick off here. My wife is headed back from seeing Placebo, The Faint, Interpol, Duran Duran, and a bunch of bands yesterday. Where did she go out for that show there, Tyler? I mean, it sounds like a whole like festival, so she must have got an Airbnb or a room out there and stayed or something like that. All right. A little bit more, Andrew. All right. Just want to make sure I'm not popping off on the clipping. Okay. Hopefully that's a lot better for you guys there out in the YouTube world. Yeah, just trying to find, maybe I just even move the microphone back. I don't want to do that while we're live because it's just going to kind of rumble in everyone's ear. But yeah, it's let's see here. Got that all taken care of. Gavin says, have to watch Serial Mom every Mother's Day. You know, Gavin, I've never seen Serial Mom, so I should probably do that. That's is it Kathleen Turner that's in that one? I saw that Chris Snyder had shared a video. I had no idea that Serial Mom had such language in it. This clip that he showed had a whole bunch of F-bombs, so I'll definitely have to check it out. All right, guys. Any questions, or should we just wrap this mother up? So cheesy, so terrible. I'm not even a dad and I make dad jokes. It's awful. Let's see here. Gavin says you should definitely watch it. Young Matthew Lillard in it too. Yeah, I think the first thing I saw Matthew Lillard in was Hackers. So this has got to predate that by 3 or 4 years, something like that, 4 or 5 years. Now Cody's got a Reba song stuck in his head. Which Reba song do you have stuck in your head there? Let me know. Let's see here. Zub0 says, have you seen Starship Troopers on 4K? Zub, I haven't seen Starship Troopers since it came out on VHS, I think. So that was the first and only time I've seen the movie. I might have seen it like in the background at someone's house before, but the only time I've sat down and watched it was, probably 6 months or so after it initially came out on a home video. So yeah, haven't seen it on 4K. How does it look? I'm interested to know because I remember thinking at the time that I liked the practical effects, but I thought the CG, wasn't so impressive back then in the late 90s in that one. But like any Paul Verhoeven movie, I think what works best in that film is the social commentary and the, kind of like the almost like parody aspect of how it makes fun of real life. I'm trying to think of the word right now because satire, like the satirization of real life is really good there in Starship Troopers. Absolutely. A dad joke on Mother's Day, the disrespect. Absolutely, Gavin. You're good to just move it back a little. Okay. Excellent. Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate it, man. And I appreciate the heads up on, if you guys ever notice anything with the video or the audio that seems to just, be off, please feel free to let me know. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll probably reconfigure here for the next one, Andrew, because I'd rather be able to be more dynamic with my voice. So maybe moving the microphone back is the way to do it. All right. They were at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Cruel World Festival. That sounds like a hell of a time, man. I've never been to the Rose Bowl. My brothers went out and watched a Rose Bowl out there when Michigan played years ago. But I've driven past the Rose Bowl, but I've never been in. But that sounds like a hell of a show. Absolutely. That's awesome, man. Reba is a cool lady. So I'm in love her in Tremors. Yeah. She is awesome in Tremors. Tremors is a movie that's got nothing wrong with it. Absolutely a total classic. Gavin says, my Phillies looking like the best team in baseball right now. Dodgers, who? Do they look better than the Orioles? I don't even know. I've kind of lost, like, it's so, stuff happens so quickly in baseball. It's like every few days you have to look back. But yeah, it seems like right now it's like Orioles, Yankees, Phillies, Braves, Dodgers are kind of like the hot teams at the moment. I can't think of anyone else in the American League that's doing really that great. I'm sure, obviously they're first place teams, but Kathleen Turner is awesome. Haven't seen Serial Mom in forever. Man, I've seen Peggy Sue got married a million times growing up. Yeah, I watched that one quite a bit when I was younger as well. And then I really like her is, Romancing the Stone. She's pretty charming in that one. And I really, just like you had said there, Tyler, her voice as Jessica Rabbit, it's the perfect voice for that character. Absolutely. I think she's got one of the best voices, especially like, I feel like it's easy to remember a lot of like male actors with unique voices that really stand out to you, but like a female actor whose voice is memorable. Kathleen Turner is definitely that for sure. Absolutely. Gene says my Mets are not so great. Yeah, it's tough. Gene, you can just be a Yankee fan, right? Not so hard. I know it doesn't work like that, but hey, I'm a Yankee fan, so you're welcome to defect. Just look at how many World Series each team has, and it'll be an easy decision to want to come over and be a Yankee fan, right? Romancing the Stone is one of Tyler's faves. Jewel of the Nile is pretty good too. I might have only seen Jewel of the Nile like once, but yeah, I know it's the sequel there. Yeah, her and Michael Douglas have a really good chemistry. Kind of a little bit of that Indiana Jones sort of vibe, but maybe a little more on like the silly side. Yeah, man, the '80s just had the tone of film in the '80s so much different than like the tone we have now. It seems like there's not really much in the middle anymore. It's like movies now are kind of either made for adults or made for kids. They're either like super, sanitized or derided for, not being that way. I feel like in the 80s, it was a good, like right in the middle mix. You could even have kids movies in the 80s where they said, all sorts of, PG-13 kind of swear words and stuff. But like that's like the way kids talk. I mean, I grew up in that era. And on the playground, we certainly swore. We certainly cussed when we weren't around our parents. Gene says, no way will she be a Yankee fan. I know, I hear you. And Ashton is a Braves fan. So Braves and Patriots, how did that work out, Ashton? I'm always curious to know because my fandom is kind of all over the place. I'm a, Redskins and Capitals when it comes to hockey and football, but then I'm a Yankees fan for baseball. And I'm a Michigan fan for college because that's where my dad got his master's. So always curious to know, where people's fandoms come from. So Mud says the Phillies have the most wins. Orioles are looking good, though. You guys are right behind them. Yeah, and it's tough with baseball, Gavin, to like really get too excited or too down before like the middle of July, right? Because it's sort of like as you approach the All-Star break there, like that's when you're like, okay, now we need to start, like we need to make sure the second half of the season that we win the second half of the season because really you just want to make it, injury free to that point, right? And make sure your pitchers and your stars are playing well. So yeah, I try not to get too like worked up about if the Yankees, like I know they've lost the last couple of games, but I'm like, well, maybe they'll win the next five. It's like, so if you keep that up, if you're winning 5, losing 2, winning 4 or 5, it's like, then there you go. Cause really at the end of the season, most teams are like either right above or right below 500. There's not much in professional baseball for the most part. There's not much wiggle room between the teams that make it and the teams that don't as far as the playoffs go. Now, of course, there are teams that just completely like do a wretched job. I think right now the White Sox are looking pretty embarrassing and the Rockies as well. But I think like the last time I checked the AL East standings, the Blue Jays were like last place and they would have been in third place in like any other division. So it's like, it's interesting to see how sometimes a division can just be so dominant in a sport, right? Yeah, and Gene says, no way, not a chance. My mom's been a Met fan since day one. Yeah, I can't blame you for not wanting to switch teams. I wouldn't be able to switch, at all. Phillies and Falcons. All right, so you guys do have some split up, regionally split up fan base. That's pretty cool. All right, guys. So we are closing in on the hour here. It is 10:57 Pacific time, and I have got to head out so I can take care of a chore or two before going over to the good old Mother's Day celebration at my brother Matt's house. So really appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out in the chat with me. You never know how these are going to go on Sundays, especially when you do them in the morning. I think when I'm available to, I will do these sorts of live streams maybe in the middle of the day. But it seems like, for you guys, maybe it works out to have it earlier in the day like this. So please let me know if this time works for you, 1 p.m. Eastern, then we can just stick with that. That's cool for me because it allows all of us to, not have to stop in the middle of our day and just be able to enjoy the rest. So yeah, really appreciate you guys coming out here. I do want to get this last chat from Ashton here. He says, I didn't get into football till my junior year in high school back in 2009. Was always a baseball and basketball fan growing up. The Patriots were one of the first NFL teams I watched. Yeah, and they were amazing through that whole era. So I can't blame you for, not falling in love with them. I mean, say what you want about Tom Brady and the Patriots. I mean, winning in football that consistently is one of the most difficult things to do. I think football is the most difficult sport as far as the margin for error. I mean, you're one and done in the playoffs. So it's like, it's really serious business. And to be able to win that consistently is certainly something that, should be aspired to. And I think that's what, the Chiefs are in the middle of that kind of run. And that's now everyone's looking for, how can we become that team that has that kind of run? Absolutely. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate you all. I love you guys for coming and hanging out with us. Like I say every single time, you guys are the shareholders. You guys are what fuels the fire here at the Davey Death Ray channel. Appreciate every single one of you all. Please, if you're interested and you want to go above and beyond with your support, check out that Patreon link in the description below. And if you're seeing a perk in there that, maybe you're like, if he did this, then I'd totally buy into that. So just let me know if there are any perks that you want to see, and we can add them in there, because I want to start growing that community. And then hopefully someday soon we'll be able to sort of transition some of that over to the YouTube memberships once we unlock, that ability to monetize the channel, which would be great. So yeah, you guys are amazing. I love each and every one of you. Really appreciate you for coming by, supporting the channel, checking out Movie Punks last night. I will see you all later on tonight on Chris Snyder's Movie Misfits channel, going over the whole entire Indiana Jones franchise. It's a huge retrospective. And then after that, I'll see you on Late Night with the Davey. And of course, don't forget, Movie Date with Davey and Kate comes back on Saturday night. We will be talking Scream 2. So revisit that film, put together some thoughts and some moments that you want to talk about in the chat. That one I'm really looking forward to, especially now that we're running with StreamYard here. Being able to actually show your guys' chat is something that's really, really cool. I love the audience engagement. You guys know that I'm all about involving you as much as we can. And this is just, look at this. I can just click through these. It's so awesome to be able to share that and to be able to share what you guys are saying with the whole entire chat. Really looking forward to what the future brings here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. To all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. Man, we just couldn't do it without you. I know that's sort of an obvious thing to say, but thank you all so much, not only for, bringing life and bringing us into life, but also, for being there for support, for guidance, to nurture, to show love and affection. Man, it's one of the most important jobs out there. Absolutely. And hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you next time around. And until then, I've been and will continue to be Davey Death Ray. Take care.